Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. In past few weeks, we reviewed China's economic performance in the year of 2024, and we'll also review how its less than satisfactory economic performance affected its society. We talked about the things like unemployment and the disappearance of the middle class, and then the increasing crime rates and things like that. Today we're going to talk about China's foreign relations in the year 2024, and hopefully it can help us shed some light on how it's going to handle its foreign relations in the year 2025. First thing first, let's see how the chief of Communist China's diplomacy or foreign relations concluded their performance in the year of 2024. It's done by its Minister of Foreign Relations or Diplomacy, namely Wang Yi. He's also a member of the Politburo of the Chinese Communist Party. He listed 5 major achievements in China's diplomacy or in China's foreign relations in last year. First one is the what he called the leader's diplomacy, namely how Xi Jinping conducted foreign policy, how he himself visited this country and met with the leaders of other countries, and what kind of negotiations or what kind of agreements they have reached, and things like that. That's the first thing. Second thing is they said that they have promoted and made some breakthrough in what they call the concept of community of common destiny of humankind. Let me say that again. Community of common destiny of humankind or of mankind. They call it as a new idea, and he pointed at how President Xi has pointed out the future direction or for the mankind in the years to come. Anyway, the second thing. The third thing is the promotion of the Chinese model of modernization. They argued that they provided a new opportunity for the world, namely you have a different path to achieve industrialization and modernization and so on and so forth. The fourth one is how they promote their relations with the global south, namely the countries in the southern hemisphere of the world. And so they set up a new model for cooperation, and that's the fourth thing. The last one is what they call the all-directional diplomacy, and how they promote this idea and how they construct what they call a new type of international relations. So after hearing all that, you notice it's pretty much a big talk, empty talks. So he provided very few substantive cases or examples to illustrate his points. So these are like propaganda, to put it simply. So if you look at the real things or real issues, you'll see a different picture, a totally different picture than the one just provided by Wang Yi, their diplomacy czar. We can look at the question from a different aspect. The first one is, of course, Communist China's relations with the United States in the year 2024. Although they tried very hard, and Xi Jinping talked with Biden over phone for several times, and they met a few times, and they signed this and signed that, but frankly speaking, their relations, well, I'm not talking about their personal relations, I'm talking about the relations between the two countries are actually deteriorating gradually. I'll explain that in details. The first one is the trade war, or the tariffs war. The tariffs war was first imposed by President Trump in the year 2018 after lengthy discussion or lengthy negotiations over the trade agreement between the two countries, and then went down the drain. So Trump imposed the tariffs on some Chinese commodities. The policies were then adopted or continued by President Biden. And then he extended in the year 2022. It was in September. And then almost 2 years later, last year, May last year, Biden increased tariffs on some Chinese goods. Let me be specific. He increased the tariff rate from 7.5% to 25% on some steel and iron and aluminum products. That's the first thing. The second, on the solar cell, from 25% to 50%. And for the EV, electric cars, from 25% to 100%. That happened in last May. So that's pretty heavy. And that's a trade. And talking about the trade war, I guess the heated battlefield is the chip, what we call the chip war. Biden imposed an embargo on some, not only on some advanced process, but also extended to mature process. It had an embargo and then imposed some sanctions on it. That's a second area. The third area is the alliances, the military or strategic alliances. The United States upgraded its military alliance with Japan, and then with South Korea, and then tried to join the two countries together, although officially or formally they are not forming a trilateral alliance. It's not yet to that part. And then it's about Japan. Japan took part in the what we call the AUKUS. Although there are two pillars in the AUKUS, Japan joined the second pillar only, not in the part of building the nuclear submarines, not in that part. And then the last one is United States strengthened its relations militarily and diplomatically with Taiwan, although, again, not to the point of officially recognize Taiwan yet. And that's the third area. The fourth one is a strategic confrontation against mainland China. Well, we can call it an all-encompassing or all-directional competition or confrontation. It encompasses areas like trade, tariffs, technology, diplomacy, and military. The most notable question is their position on the Ukraine war. United States position and Communist China's positions are basically confrontational. So it's very obvious, and it caused much controversies between the two. So we can conclude that the relations between the two countries, between the United States and Communist China, is really deteriorating. It's comprehensively deteriorating. And that's the first thing. The second question we want to look into is China's relations with Russia. In terms of their relations, we can see both pluses and minuses. On the positive side, we can see there's an increase in their trade, in their mutual trade. China has been buying petroleum and natural gases and some minerals from Russia in great amount. And China has been selling chips and some military supplies to Russia. So you see a big increase in their trade volumes. And you can see the mutual visits, be them an official visit or personal visit between Xi Jinping and Putin. So you can see that's what they call the leaders' diplomacy, as Wang Yi called it. And thirdly, you can see that China has been supporting, or Communist China has been supporting Russia or supporting President Putin in some diplomatic occasions, like in G20 or somewhere else. And it supported Russia in the Ukraine war. And then they conducted several joint military exercises in different areas. So that's the positive side. But on the negative side, you can see there are some things or some factors looming over their relations. The first one is the alliance. The alliance is struck between Russia and North Korea. It caused some trouble on the Chinese side because Communist China used to see North Korea as not as a puppy, but as a little brother of his. So they want that Kim Jong-un or the North Korea to listen to Communist China, listen to Beijing all the time. But now it seems that Kim Jong-un had a different idea about how to deal with China. That's the first thing that worries China. The second thing is when Trump took office in the White House, and there's a possibility that the United States may repair its relations with Russia, with Putin. And then that puts Communist China in a position of an awkward third. So there's a speculation on the Chinese side that would there be a possibility that the United States will coalesce with Russia and then against China. So it's a reversal. They call it the reverse Kissinger policy or reverse Kissinger diplomacy, whatever you call it. And that's their relations with Russia on both positive side and negative side. The third area we want to examine is Communist China's relations with European countries, the major European countries. Compared to its relations with Russia, it's basically negative on the European side. We see that the European countries are not happy with Communist China because of their position on the Ukraine war and on trade, overcapacity of production, and then dumping their commodities or their goods to European countries or European markets, such as solar cells, solar panels, and EV, electric cars. These are the major things. On the other hand, they set up all kinds of trade barriers or tariff barriers against European enterprises and companies. So European countries are not happy about it. Actually, they're very upset about it. So we see that both NATO and EU condemn China on it, against all these things. And then they even send their warships to Asia, to the Asia-Pacific region, not just to join the military exercises led by the United States, but they navigate through South China Sea or sometimes even through Taiwan Strait, just as a gesture to show their dissatisfaction about China's behavior in this or that. So a European country then proposed the idea of de-risking, and then it was later adopted by the United States too. So that's the relations with European countries. So far, we have reviewed China's relations with countries like the United States, Russia, and major European countries. And for the sake of time, we have to stop here. And I left China's relations with neighbors such as Japan, South Korea, North Korea, the Philippines, and Taiwan, and so on and so forth until next time. But from what we have discussed, we can tell that China's foreign relations in the past year, in the year of 2024, is not as rosy as pictured by Wang Yi, the diplomacy czar of Communist China. So we're going to continue this topic next week, and then we're going to do a more comprehensive review of how it handles foreign relations in past year. And hopefully, like I said, shed some light on how it's going to deal with the foreign relations in this year, in the year 2025, especially after Mr. Donald Trump have returned to the White House. It's a big impact. It's a big issue for them. So I hope you like today's program, and if you do, please subscribe and share it with your friends, and then click the little icon bell so that you can get a notification, get a simultaneous notification when we have a new program on. So I'll see you next time. Until next week.